Hi guys, I am so excited about this video, I can hardly take it. This has actually been like one of those videos that I've been plotting for weeks, and now I'm finally bringing it to you. I wanted to use these products for a little while before actually doing this haul, but keep in mind this is still a haul. These are not full-on reviews just yet, but I wanted to do something where I just did a haul of products from brands I have never tried before. Like, it's not just that I haven't tried these products before, but these are brands I have never touched. I just thought it would be interesting for you, the viewer, to get, you know, a new perspective on some different makeup products, but also just for my own personal makeup education, let's say. I really think the more you try, the more you know, and the greater spectrum you have for drawing comparisons with other products. For example, I know anytime that I try a really expensive luxury item and I love it, it kind of puts a little goal in the back of my mind for, you know, this is the kind of thing you want to look for and try to come up with at a drugstore price as well. So while this video is going to be talking about various luxury items, I have by no means abandoned the drugstore. I am just trying some new things and will probably be able to give you an even more informed perspective with every review I do down the road. The first brand that I tried a few things from is Charlotte Tilbury. I got an eyeshadow quad and a couple of lipsticks. The palette that I got is the luxury palette in the Dolce Vita, and it's beautiful packaging, like kind of a really deep burgundy with rose gold, and then these are the shades inside. It's a very fall looking color scheme, as you can tell. All of the shades in here have a little bit of shimmer. I would say 3 of the shades are more of a soft, you know, a little bit pearly finish, and then this one here has a lot of sparkle. They are beautifully pigmented and soft, but I can tell, you know, just by touching them and in my experience applying them on the eyes, they're not a shadow that gives you more than you need. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are some shades you'll tap into and it's like that shadow can achieve a range of looks. You know, you can pack it on really thick, it'll look one way. You could apply it very sheer, it'll look another way. With these, I feel like when I put my brush into them, I get enough. I'm not struggling to build up the look, but I don't get too much, if that makes sense. 3 of these shades, like I said, are kind of satiny, a little bit pearly in the finish, and they just looked so soft and smooth on the eyes. The highlight in particular, you know, sometimes they can look very frosty. This really had a nice amount of smoothness going on, and I love the shade that's kind of like a burgundy brownish shade. Love that. The shade down here, kind of like just swampy greenish brown. You know, you're not getting pure brown out of it, you're not really getting a lot of green out of it. Sometimes I like shades like that. Other times I find when I'm pulling it in alongside the burgundy, it just kind of muddies things up a little bit. Now, the shade I've not yet mentioned is the glittery shade. It is a straight up kind of coppery glitter. I used it a couple days ago, patted all over the lid on top of an eyeshadow primer, and it really clings when you do it that way. And it was a pretty look because while it is glitter, the glitter is very fine. However, that's the shade that kind of makes me regret this purchase a little bit, because I think you're kind of confined with a shade like this. It's like, that's gonna be a shade that's pretty much gonna have to be worn on the lid. I can't think of any way I would really want to wear it unless I really maybe like laid it on thick as a lower liner pop type thing. I almost would have preferred that be like a highly shimmery metallic shade as opposed to something in glitter form. I'm not gonna stop playing around with the palette. I again think it's gorgeous, it's beautiful packaging, it's really nicely textured eyeshadows. So this is not the last you'll be hearing about that little quad. The other 2 things that I got are lipsticks. Brace yourselves. The packaging, beautiful rose gold, like old school type packaging. It reminds me of when Estee Lauder put out their Mad Men collection and they released a lipstick, I think it was called Pinkadelic, and it had this beautiful, like, it's almost like a ribbed kind of style on the outside, and it just looked so like old school glamour, and that's what these are like as well. They've got the Charlotte Tilbury logo right on the ends and just a beautiful weight to them. The feel is just nice. These are lipsticks for people who like the whole lipstick experience, I would say. I was only going to get 1 lipstick. I was going to buy Bond Girl, and then I saw that they had some lipstick duos available as well, and this other shade shades suck me in. So first off, just talking about Bond Girl, these are the Matte Revolution lipsticks. It says on the box, luminous, modern matte, long-lasting lipstick. You look at the shape first off, and I thought, how's that gonna work? But really, this little squared off shape shapes up your Cupid's bow just beautifully. I actually love the way that fits in there, and it's going to be sad as this starts to wear down some and we'll probably lose some of that precision. The most unique thing about this is when I first touch this to my lips, I feel like it's dry, and I think, oh, I'm gonna have to go over that. It's like just my instinct in my mind is that I'll be, you know, sweeping over it again and again. No, not at all. Even though it has like this dry, little bit velvety feel, but there is some definite dryness to the lipstick, it gives you full-on color and does not pull at all. Okay, so it's so hard to explain this. It gives you the full-on matte finish, but my lips do not feel dry. And you guys, I'm coming off of a cold. I'm coming off of some of my driest lips ever. I feel like my lips have all the movement and mobility they ever would have with any kind of lip product on. And when I press my lips together, I can feel moisture. There is moisture on my lips, but I'm still having a totally matte finish. Why this shade, this Bond Girl color? I was really studying everything on the website, and I thought this would be a color that I would wear a lot. If I'm going to invest in a more expensive lipstick, I really want it to be a shade I'm gonna wanna reach for often. And as I wear it now, I feel like it's kind of a deep rose, but if you wear it more on the sheer side, apply it with a lip brush, it's kind of like a Your Lips But Better, or just a hair deeper type of shade. So I'm really, really happy with this. I think this is gonna get tons of use throughout the fall and winter. And again, the packaging is just dynamite. I love that. Now, the other shade that came with it in the duo that was kind of the afterthought shade for me is called Glastonbury. And this is a really, really deep shade. It looks so deep and dark there in the packaging, but when you see it swatched out, you see so much kind of unexpected purpley tone come out of this color. Again, like the Bond Girl shade, it's going to be able to pull off multiple looks. You lay this on thick, it looks so dark and vampy, or apply it with a lip brush where you have a little bit more control over the sheerness of the application, and you're gonna have much more of a berry look coming through. It's beautiful. So extremely impressed by the Matte Revolution lipsticks. If there is more from the Charlotte Tilbury line that you're like, oh my gosh, you have to try this, let me know in the comments section. Really anything, you know, if there are any brands that come under this heading of things I've never tried before that you'd like to recommend to me, I would love that. Next thing that I got was from Sephora's website, and it's a product called Nudes Stix. They seem to have a series of different concealer type shades, different eye sticks. What I was really hoping for was a set that would allow me to try multiple things, but I wasn't finding it. So I just went with something that I thought could be kind of multitasking. So I went with the Lip and Cheek Pencil, and it gives you the shades Whisper and Mystic. And it comes in a little tin like this. There is a mirror on the inside. They've got a little info sheet in here about the product and also a little sharpener as well. Everything is like a stick format from this line. And as far as the Lip and Cheek Pencil, it's got vitamin E in it, it's got shea butter, and they say to like outline the lips and fill them in, and there's your lip look, and then also apply like a few little dots of this on the cheeks, and there's your blush. So one of these shades, more of a classic nude, one a bit more rosy, and they do look beautiful, like kind of paired together and blended together on the lips. I'm wearing this deeper shade called Mystic on my cheeks today, and it's a very soft look, you know. I just did the 3 little lines of it, and I actually blended it out with my small stipple brush just because I feel like that's a little more foolproof way for me to blend out cream blushes on the cheeks. But they are super soft, easy to work with shades. Like, I don't have any complaints about the formula. These are probably going to continue to get more use from me as lip products, just because I think it's more handy that way. I like the coloring of it, the whole color payoff of that kind of a lip look better. But I would definitely be open to trying some more things from this line just to learn a little bit more about it. The last couple of things came from Beautylish. One of the brands I hadn't tried anything from is called By Terry, and the thing that I chose to get is called this Hyaluronic Hydra powder. Please listen to the description for a second and tell tell me this doesn't sound like a miracle product. It says, a true cosmetic innovation, this colorless microfine hyaluronic acid powder is the new beauty step that can be used day and night after foundation or skincare. Its Hydra comforting formula combines ultra filling and plumping micronized hyaluronic acid spheres and super absorbent silica microbeads to slip into the slightest creases to resurface wrinkles, fine lines, and enlarged pores with a sheer touch. Apply with fingertips onto zones in need of correction or apply all over the face with a brush. So the thought of applying a loose powder with your fingertips, yes, I have tried that with this. It's interesting. I can see why they say that because this is absolutely the finest powder I have ever used. To touch this with a brush, seriously, just it looks like it's gone smoky. Like if you've tried the HD finishing powders from e.l.f., Makeup Forever, any brand that has something like that, this is much, much lighter even than those, if that's even possible. It's like, how are they even packing micronized hyaluronic acid spheres into something that is so like light as air, literally light as air? So I shake a little out, you know, into the cap when I use this and put my finger into it. And I can see why they say that because the finger does kind of pick it up better than a brush does, because when I put a brush into it, I have to be so careful or it just goes into the smoke cloud around you. So using my finger, I have tapped this, you know, on my under eye area. I've tapped it around my T-zone. So those would be places where I see fine lines or pores, and it does blur those areas. It does completely smooth the texture and makes your skin feel so soft, but that application is kind of hard. You keep feeling like you're going back. I mean, it's just awkward with the fingers. So I've been experimenting with different brushes. A large brush absolutely will not do. It will send the stuff everywhere. So I've been kind of trying my e.l.f. small tapered brush. Like that's what I used today. And I just very, very carefully tried to pick up some product, and I did blot it on the under eyes as my under eye setting powder, and I used it just basically in my T-zone. And what I can say is that the skin looks beautiful with this product freshly applied. I have not yet really honed in and paid enough attention later in the day to how it's wearing then, because that's always when the pores, the fine lines start to become more visible, you know, under makeup and stuff like that. So does this make a difference in the way products wear throughout the day? That will be the question I seek to answer as I continue to use this. This is a fascinating product. It has huge claims. I will definitely keep using it and report back. The final products to tell you about. I got a couple of the Visart or Viseart eyeshadow palettes. I also got these on the Beautylish website, and wow, these are $80 palettes each one. I have heard so many wonderful things about these kinds of eyeshadow palettes. They have a series of different options. There's like a matte nude one. There's this one called Dark Matte. I also got Sultry Muse, which happens to have a lot of, you know, shimmery and satiny finishes in it. And there were a couple of other options available as well. And they are really amazing eyeshadows. I really feel I can sit here and say they are some of the best I have ever used. For sure. The best way I can describe it is, you know, when you sit down to do your eye makeup and you're starting to apply the shadow and you've kind of got a vision in your head for how that's going to look, how it's going to go on, the way it's going to apply. These apply in the way you hope they will in your head. Like, there is nothing unexpectedly bad about these at all. I think it comes from the fact that they are so true to color. So exactly the way you see them in the palette, they are capable of looking that very same way on the eyes. To be upfront with you, again, this is not a review. I have used these together. Every time I've used them together. And I've done 3 looks with them so far, so I have only scratched the surface of what these can do. Will a full review be coming? Absolutely, but I'm gonna have to experiment more and just really dig into these. I would hate to do a premature review and only know about a fraction of the shadows in the palette, you know, when I was reviewing them. I really like to know about the things I'm talking about. So this one is all matte, this one is all shimmer. I would say one downside initially is the fact that if you're a person who likes to be able to take one palette and do an entire look from it, You may not feel like you can do that, at least definitely not with this one, because as you can see, every shade is either medium to very deep. So you're not gonna have any highlight shades in here. But I have so enjoyed pairing it with this palette that's full of, you know, the soft shimmery shades. There are so many gorgeous shades here in this Sultry Muse palette. This right here, and you know, you just touch into them. You just put your finger in, barely move it, and you've got so much color coming up from these. Even in this shimmery palette, not every finish is identical. Like, there are some that are true metallic shades. There are a couple in here, like the silvery one, this one up here, that have a very, very teeny tiny, what would you call it, like mini glitter, micro glitter in there. And then some have just a little bit softer, just pearlized sheen to them. These shades are beautiful. The textures are absolutely amazing, but I would say the dark matte palette is probably the most unique thing happening here, because just looking at this grouping of colors, it's like, what do I own that really does this? You know, all of these shades are really intense. These couple of shades up here are great, like more neutral crease tones, and then you've got all of these other, you know, realms of color to get into. I did a look the other day where I used kind of like some of these orangey shades and the purples. It was so pretty. Today I've actually got on one of the shimmery shades on the lid. I've got this one on most of my lid, and then I pulled in this green color just softly on the outer part of the lid, and this brown in the crease. Where I was talking about the Charlotte Tilbury palette and how it kind of has one level that it operates on, you know, it's nice, but it's only like kind of gonna go one way. It doesn't give you too much, it's not too sheer. These are examples of palettes with colors that have many layers to them, like to one individual shade. I can wear this green very, very softly in this look. I could pack it on and wear it really thick as well. Part of what also made this look softer today, and I wanted it to do this, I kind of overlapped a lighter color as well, so it softened up the green. But just in themselves, these shades have such a range of looks that they can pull off. Like yesterday when I was playing around with some of these kind of berry type tones, whether it's the burgundy or the purples, you know, those sheer out so nicely, and they bring off a whole different look than they do when they're worn really dark in the crease. Am I having fun playing with these palettes? Absolutely. Again, some of the best eyeshadows I've used, but I'm not quite ready to review them just yet, just because I don't know the full scope of what these can do yet. I was so tempted to get the matte neutral palette because I thought, you know, that would be such a nice pairing with either of these, but then I kind of held back a little bit because I thought I have so many just neutral shadow palettes. I'm really in love with my Kat Von D Shade and Light palette right now, so I just couldn't constitute that as a purchase. But these were the two that especially caught my eye and just made me think, yeah, I want to explore those. So that is my haul. Brands I've never tried before. As you can see, some interesting finds. I would say the most exciting finds as of this haul right now, the most exciting things to me would probably be the Visart palettes, probably the Charlotte Tilbury matte lipsticks as well. Most intriguing or most mysterious kind of product that I really am gonna have to work with and just really experiment a lot with application is the By Terry Hyaluronic Hydra powder, because it sounds like a dream product, but if you can't get it applied properly, what's the point? But I'm not done with you. I'm gonna keep trying. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you again next time. Bye.